For those of you who didn't know, we've been on a little bit of a hiatus here for the Pod Bay Door. Welcome. Thanks for joining us again. I went to, against all recommendation, went to Orlando, and I was going to go on a cruise. This was an already ruined cruise, I'll call it, by our current incumbent president. It was supposed to go to Cuba. It did not. They changed. They said, okay, we're not going to go to Cuba, but we're going to go to 3 different Bahamian locations. That, of course, didn't happen. However, if anybody's used to cruising or is going to go on their first cruise, this is an interesting situation. We got the insurance, got the trip insurance, which we're waiting to see what happens there because they're a bunch of shysters. The last minute, American Airlines said, yes, we're going to fly to Orlando. Okay, great. Thing is about insurance is you can't cancel. It has to be canceled. Has to be canceled either by the airline or the cruise ship or both. So we had to go. Or everything would have been for naught. We knew we weren't going. We knew that even though he was slow and kind of, challenged, Dorian was going to come through somewhere.
Yeah.
So we flew to Orlando, and 10 p.m. the night before our cruise, we get this sort of anemic email from Norwegian Cruise Line. Oh, yeah, you're not going. We knew that already. So, but we didn't know where Dorian was going to go. Because right now, she was not even begun to hammer the Bahamian people. And so, okay, we said, we're not quite sure what's going to come over to where we are. So we sort of fled, if you will, to Clearwater, Florida. Wonderful place. Very small. One beautiful beach road out there. Had a wonderful time. Then we came back to Orlando after Dorian had done its work. And had a wonderful trip in the Universal Resort area, and had a great time there.
Did you go to Universal Studios then?
We went to all 3 parks. We went to Volcano Bay, which is their water park, which is odd considering it was a hurricane, but Volcano Bay was outstanding. There's also Universal Studios Florida, and then Universal Studios Islands of Adventure, all of which were just stupendous. Being an amusement park guy, I thought they were well run. They were immaculate.
Nice.
There wasn't you could eat off any surface there. It was amazing.
Now, are there any rides that you won't go on?
No. I will go on,
even
yes.
like It's a Small World?
I went on that with my mother.
Oh.
I did. And I'm not particularly susceptible to the music, so I walked off just fine. I would go on even the rides they fake on Facebook.
Oh.
Yeah. I love amusement parks and rides.
Yeah.
I go on the lame ones. I go on the great ones. I go on everything in between.
I'd like to go through that It's a Small World with a belt-fed machine gun. That was always my dream. Saying, God, could this thing be any sappier than it is?
There is, God, if they're listening, you can send us 2 shirts. But there is a company out there that produces a shirt that is like a rock and roll memorabilia shirt, like you would get at one of your headbanging things.
Yeah.
And it says, and it looks like an album cover, like back in the days of Robert Plant and Hart and everything else. Yeah. And it's belt-fed hate machine. Oh, I love it. I would love it. I believe the company is called 30 Seconds Out. And they are not paying us, so don't think that. But it's sort of a Vietnam era style thing, but belt-fed hate machine. If you're listening, send me a shirt. I will sell you across the board. But so we are back, John and Jamie on the Pod Bay Door. This is episode, I think it's 107.
Yeah.
And so we're going to deal with some listener questions. We're going to deal with Las Vegas and the news. We may be coming a little late to some of the news pieces, but we're going to give our version of it because I've heard some interesting versions of Storm Area 51, which are
right.
absolutely not correct. I'll bring those up later.
Yeah.
But Las Vegas and the news, listener questions. Here we go. First question, Carl from Twitter. And I can speak of this directly because I know it. I just spent almost a week doing it. Carl wants to know, what is bingo really like and where should he go?
You say South Point?
I say South Point. There's bingo all over the town. Green Valley Ranch, of course, and Station Casinos, they feature it. Some of the Boyd group hotels feature it. The majors, like Caesar's Palace, you're going to see some specialty bingo, but not daily. But I'm going to suggest South Point for a couple of reasons. One of which, John and I have already spoken of. Free parking.
Free parking.
And ample parking.
Yeah.
There's surface level. There's in the garage. It's free. Just avoid rodeo time, which is coming up. PBR in October. If any of you guys like to watch the bulls go out. What is bingo like? It is, I have said it before, I'm going to say it again. If you've never been to Vegas, you need to come and experience it one time. If you've been to Vegas, you need to experience it. It is the strangest version of gambling you can ever see. No, you do not need an oxygen tank. No, you do not need an old person to go with you. You can go and have fun with everybody else. But there are a tremendous number of oxygen tanks, wheelchairs, elderly people. That is the crowd who likes the bingo. But it is a lot of fun. Now, what I experienced this last week, I had never experienced before. Bingo used to be in the sort of the range of Lost Leader, the buffet, and the
old days,
lounge show.
Yeah.
Hell, you could go see Sinatra for free back in the day. My mom and dad did.
Yeah.
But the Lost Leaders are now a dinosaur in town. You can get a buffet if you're a half-ass player, but that's about it. And some free rooms if you're a really good player, but that's really it. But bingo used to be in that category. Now it's expensive.
Really?
I do the machines, and see, there's two things. You can still daub. They're called daubers, and they're full of ink, and you can get little specialty things. They cost $1 in the vending machines if you don't have one. And you can do dauber on paper. The day of the beans are over. Do you remember that? Bingo with beans.
Yep.
Beans are over. You got to daub. And you have to daub. A lot of people come in with pens, and that's against the rules. You have to daub.
You have to daub.
So, or you could do machines. There are two different types of machines, both functioning the same way. And you can whereas you can only daub so many papers because your brain only works that fast. You can have a lot more paper, cards, they call them, in the machines. So I get the machine. It's pretty boring because once you get them in the machine does the whole thing. It even tells you when you're 3 away, 4 away, 2 away, when you're about to win, and if you win.
Yeah.
A lot of people are afraid of it because then they have to say bingo. They don't know. They're afraid of, they won't know when they win. Well, if you're playing paper, you got to be real careful of that.
Yeah.
Because I've seen many people, they win, they didn't see it, and then they lose out.
Yeah.
So I did the machine. So that has already increased the cost. Then they have now they have specialty things. They've included what's called a gem bonus, and it's this whole almost slot machine thing that goes on while you're playing bingo that affects your bingo game. They have the star number bonus, star balls. No, it's not a porn film. It's actually a version of a game during the game. So, and you pay for that. You pay $5 extra for those. So you basically $5 yourselves up to about $50.
Wow.
Now you can. They make this announcement during the bingo that everybody must be playing at least $4. Now I found out you can play $4. It's called a blue pack on paper, and you daub it. But there's no way you're doing $4 in a machine.
Yeah.
And I don't want to daub. So that's kind of the way it works. You go in, it's never crowded. It's over the week's time, the largest crowd was on a Sunday. They call it Super Sunday because there's a double everything. And there was about, I don't know, a buck and a half. There was 150 people. I was the youngest. Pretty much by far. But that's what it's like. And they play approximately 14 games. Some are played multiple games on one card, on one area. And then, again, you just sit there, watch your machine, and sometimes you get close, sometimes you don't. You still have to call bingo. I have a problem with this because they say very clearly in all the rules that they give before and during, they say you must raise your hand and call bingo. Well, some of these old farts that kind of, they think they're this is their bingo, and all of us are,
Right.
are usurpers. One guy raised his hand and said winner, and I said no. He should lose. He should not win this game.
He didn't say bingo.
He did not say bingo. And I'm sorry. Bingo is not a new game, and yes, you may have won, but you need to call bingo as per the rules.
Right.
Okay. So, but is it fun? It's a lot of fun. Is it fun by yourself? No, it's like going to a movie by yourself. It's not really not a lot of fun,
Yeah.
But go with some friends. And try everything. Try the daub, try the papers, try the machines and everything else. But don't kid yourself. You're going to be in 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks if you want a larger chance of winning. And do you win? Yes, you can, depending on the level of cards that you get in your machine or in the paper. You can either win 50, 100, 150, and then combine all these star and gem bonus and everything else, and then at the end they have what's called a coverall, and that's exactly what it sounds like. You cover all the little spaces, and if you win that, it's $1,000, and sometimes they have a second chance $1,000, so the one person wins and then a second person wins. And on Super Sunday they had 4 chances. So basically, I would suggest, while the South Point is doing this, get the minimum card. $4 paper, get your dauber, go in there and wait for the $4,000 coveralls. And then you spent $4 and $1 for a dauber, and then you have a chance at 4 chances at winning $1,000. That is the best return. All the rest, you spend $50, you could win $100, you get your money back plus a little, something for a hot dog.
Yeah.
So there you go. South Point, I recommend. It's nice and big. It's away from the casino. It's near the movie theater, free parking, and it's not very crowded.
Yeah. How long were you there?
They because the new things, they go about an hour and 10 minutes. They
Okay.
used to go an hour to the minute. So there you go, Carl. Come and enjoy some bingo. If anybody has any questions,
Let us know if you win, Carl.
let us know if you win. If anybody has any questions, I am now a bingo expert. Next, David from Facebook says, Cranky John.
Yes.
Thank you, David, for that. What's the best venue for metal music and what's coming up?
I would have to think now that actually the House of Blues in Mandalay Bay.
Really?
Yeah, are doing a good job of name acts. So I'm going in October. I'm going to go see Amon Amarth with Arch Enemy. So they'll be at House of Blues. I'm also going to see UFO from the 70s. They're metal, they're hard rock more so than the extreme metal. But they're on their 50-year final farewell tour. So I thought, I saw them back in the 70s when I was like 18 years old. I'm 60 now. So that singer, he was older. He was 10 years older than me at the time. That's Phil Mogg. He's still singing. He's all white-haired. So he got to be in his 70s.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm going to go there. And they have other, metal bands. The hard rock, not the hotel, of course, that's gone, but the cafe occasionally has metal bands there. There's a place, I haven't been there. It's downtown. I'll have to look up the name of that. They do have, again, they're going to be a little more obscure, I think. There's also the Dive Bar. I know Goat Whore played there, I think, last year.
Yes.
So that's another option. If it's, it's going to be, if you're looking on the strip, I would say that, yeah, House of Blues is your best option, unless you're looking for just local bands.
All right. Yeah. I'm very surprised by that.
Yeah.
Now, little update on hard rock. There's the after the questions, I'm going to do a brief review on Lawry's.
Yeah.
And from Lawry's, as you drive into Lawry's is a restaurant.
Yeah. And a good one.
Yeah, and a very good one. You can see the hard rock and all of its transformation.
Yep. Guitar's gone.
Yeah, guitar's gone. A cafe's gone.
Yeah.
And it is almost a stark white. But the reason they've done that is they have a lighting package that is beautiful. They had it sort of an off blue, it is remarkable how it's changed in such a simple way. The marquee is up that says Hard Rock, and all the major cranes are gone. So it's interesting to see what's been going on, but it's beautifully done.
Yeah, I read that they're going to close in January for like 9 months to renovate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know exactly what facade work they've done so far, but they have made some changes. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's going to be a long time.
Also, Mohegan Indian Gaming have gotten the license to run the casino. They are the first Indian gaming outfit or corporation, whatever, that's going to be running a casino in Las Vegas.
Now, are you a proponent of that?
I don't care I don't really gamble, so I don't know why they don't have their own.
Okay.
But
okay.
I don't know.
Yeah. The reason I ask is because, for example, back to the bingo thing, my mother, who is a true bingo expert, she goes to the Indian gaming facilities, and their bingo afternoons are 100 times better. Your winnings are much larger. Your potential for winning is much larger. They do a way better job. So I'm just curious if we're going to see a lot of resistance from the bosses.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, well, I hope they do a good job.
Yeah. Okay. Tina from Podbean.
Yeah.
Said, Jamie, what is the best topless pool? I forgot. This has been hanging on a long time. I should have got this during the summer, but the hiatus. What is the best topless pool? Oh my gosh. Well, I've been to a few. I've been to them while they were topless, while they were not topless, while I was working another job. I will have to say two of them. Bear at the Mirage and Morea at Mandalay Bay. Now, both of which are changing significantly. And there is talks that they will not be having any topless pools in Las Vegas.
How come?
Next season. The casinos got Me Too'd, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, it's not like anybody's forcing them to take their top off, right?
No. And they were always busy. And you don't have to take your top off. It's not a prerequisite.
Yeah.
People did. Women did. And men were there, and a good time was had by all, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think there are sometimes, like when I was at the Mandalay Bay pool, and guys are walking around without their shirt on, and they got man tits that I really wish they were covered.
Indeed.
Hair on them, and Jesus, dude.
I would love to hear everybody's comment on that. Do you think topless pools are specifically a Vegas should remain specifically as a Vegas thing? Should they be removed because of today's sensitivities? What do you think? I think they should stay if there's attendance. I mean, and casinos will keep them going if it makes money.
Yeah.
If it doesn't make money, it's going to go. It's not going to be because topless or not topless. So I would say those two are the best. Again, I don't see a lot of new ones going to pop up next season. So
yeah, that's too bad.
Now in reference to our 3-part series, which is actually the 3 before this one, what tried and failed in Las Vegas as far as restaurants and casinos and resorts and so on and so forth, I was told by a friend of the show, Steve, that we missed one.
Oh.
Yes. I blame you, John.
Yes. Blame me for it. What did we miss?
We missed, there's a very famous individual here. He's not here anymore, but his name is Jay Sarno.
Yeah.
And if anybody knows Las Vegas, they know that the road that you turn into
on Caesars
Drive, yes,
his name's Sarno.
His name
Sarno
Jay Sarno Way.
Yeah.
Still, after all these years, and it's the best way to get into Caesars.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. Take the back road.
Take Sinatra to Jay Sarno.
Yeah.
Make a right, and you're right there at the public parking. So, insider tip. But Jay Sarno was integral in building Caesars.
Yes, he was.
He was the man. He was not only a producer, but he was a money guy. He was everything, and he was absolutely mobbed up, and he knew the Rat Pack, and he was a great guy.
Yeah.
Then his next plan was apparently a casino resort called Grandissimo, which thoroughly failed. Never
Oh, is that
happened.
right?
Yeah, never
I didn't
happened.
know that.
I couldn't. It was a last minute inclusion into today's information. So I'm going to find more information about it and tell everybody on the next episode. But Jay Sarno, Grandissimo, needed to be on our list.
Yeah.
So we're going to find
I
out
would
about
think
that
so.
for everybody and everybody know.
And he's kind of old school. I mean, he was like
Oh,
pre
yeah,
Steve
maybe.
Wynn.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Oh yeah, he was. Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
And-
because I think most of the ones that we talked about, most of them were from the Wynn era or afterwards. Everybody thought they were going to cash in.
Yeah, a couple in the 70s, but most are
Yeah.
80s to present. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this one failed quite a while ago. So the next one is Robert from Twitter. What? This is to both of us, I guess. What is the rideshare situation at Allegiant Stadium?
Well, that'll be interesting.
Yes,
Yeah.
I have a little bit of new information, but I think it's information that's probably been covered, in the news. The Allegiant Stadium, because it was a tremendously poor place to put the stadium.
Oh, a terrible place to put it.
They have really taken to and adopted a new sort of look at rideshare, and they are right now. There is a plan to have an entire paddock for rideshare, Uber, Lyft. There's a new one coming to town, I think, but this does not include taxis or limos or personal drop-off. Yeah, you're gonna have to be tagged with Uber and your lights and your orange and your pink and your Lyft and everything.
Yeah, and you know what I heard for people who are driving, they're going to have a parking lot or something set up over by like where the park is, the hotel. So it's on the opposite side of the freeway, and you're going to have to take a shuttle over there.
Yeah.
They are not going to allow tailgating. Well, American football and tailgating, I mean, it's part of the culture.
Absolutely.
People will show up sometimes just for that purpose. It's the social aspect before the game.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a football game today?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Who's playing, basically? Yeah. You're not going to allow that? I mean, again, this belongs in that same category of people think you need to wear, for a restaurant, gentlemen need to be wearing a necktie and a sports coat.
Yes.
And it's 109 degrees outside. They don't realize that Las Vegas culture, no.
Yeah.
You have to, that doesn't belong here. But yeah, you're not going to be allowed to tailgate.
See, my point on the tailgating issue, which I believe has not been resolved. I know that people are fighting it tooth and nail. My thought process is this: is like, well, okay, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't charge what you're charging currently for your seats, and then not let people tailgate and enjoy the game from the tailgating.
Yeah,
because a lot of people watch the game right from the tailgate.
That's right.
They
just want to be there.
Yeah, they want to experience the whole thing. Bad. I don't know who's making that call, but it's got to be it's the Davises and Allegiant and everything else.
And they're probably worried about, again, it's some stuffed shirt in an office saying, oh, we don't want the liability in case somebody's barbecue tips over and causes a fire.
Yeah.
Or somebody got burned.
Yeah. Or the tailgating square footage could make them more money.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say.
Maybe they need to put barbecue pits in there. And that way they probably rent them out like they do it at the park.
Right. So that's really the most current I could find about the rideshare situation. I do believe they are going to make a very nice rideshare drop off and pick up area because A, there's no parking, B, it's hard as hell to get in there, and C, it's kind of the only way you're going to get there.
Yeah. Now, another sports venue that I did go to while we were on hiatus, I went to see the Aviators, the baseball team.
Right.
Because they were playing the Sacramento River Cats. The Sacramento River Cats are the minor league team of the Giants. I'm a Giants fan. So this was a playoff game. They're playing for the Pacific Coast League Championship.
Nice.
Free parking.
There you go.
Nice. It's a great stadium. It's brand new. This is their inaugural season out there.
Nice.
In
How was
Summerlin.
it? I've not been.
10,000. It seats 10,000 people. There's not a bad seat in the house.
Nice.
I paid $63 for 2 tickets. In the 7th row between home plate and the third base dugout.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was great.
Very good.
They have it's a nice stadium. It's a nice park.
Now, the old stadium had some covered, some not. Were your seats covered?
Well, it was a night game. No, they were not covered.
Okay.
Oh, did they have the screen now around it for like to protect you from foul balls.
No, the old stadium had
like
the
an overhang?
veranda
Oh.
that you could sit under because of the
The
extreme
heat.
heat
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
possible rain. Would,
Yeah.
it's like twice a year. Maybe.
Yeah. Now, we were again. It was because it was a night game. That
Okay.
really wasn't an issue. But yeah, it was really nice stadium.
And the result?
Well, for that particular game, the Aviators won.
Okay.
It put the River Cats backs to the wall. It was a best of 5. They played the first 2 games in Sacramento and they split.
Nice.
But then the River Cats came back, won the next 2 games in Las Vegas. Then they went on to the Pacific Coast League Championship. This was the first round. That was the second round. They swept the team from Red Rock, Texas.
Really?
And then in a 1-game playoff against the other from the International League for the entire AAA minor league championship from Columbus, which were the Cleveland Indians minor league team.
Okay.
They won that game. So they ended up, even though of all the teams in the playoffs, they had the worst record.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but nevertheless, they got hot at the right time.
Well, good
Yeah,
for them.
it was a good game.
I'm glad the stadium is great.
And I tried, another thing I did was price comparison. I bought my standard beer and a bottle of water for my son. That was $16.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was 19 at the at San Francisco, which isn't bad, but $22.49 at the Mandalay Bay Pool.
Yeah. Oh, we had already discussed, my experience at the Diamondbacks.
Yes.
I was offended.
Yes.
So $16, I would spend that.
Yes.
I would spend that. Okay. Thanks, Robert, for that. So hopefully that helped you there. Jasmine from Podbean. Any review of Life is Beautiful? You didn't go.
No, that's not my style.
Not your style.
No.
I had the opportunity. I have a friend that is involved in the operations of it. And I had a brief tour of the property. They call it the footprint. And I have to say, and then I had a couple of friends that went.
Yeah.
I have to say that my tour prior to people going, now, of course, there's a lot going on. I mean, it's amazing how Las Vegas venues and festivals and things, in 12 hours, it's like the world changes. It's amazing. It's fun to watch, too, especially if you're like going to a big convention and you watch it go from a blank hall to, your convention overnight. It's amazing.
Now, what do they have? They had a downtown by the D?
But
that's
it's
probably
all
where they had
over.
Lost Rages.
Yeah, it's just all over.
That's what I thought.
They had an EDM tent, and they have food venues everywhere and art installations everywhere. And I mean, you could just walk your feet off. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I was in a golf cart going around looking at different things. Well, that knowledge, very complex though. I'm very curious about how people were able to progress around, this particular, what they call the footprint. And so I had a couple of friends tell me how it was. And as you had mentioned, the lineup of music was a little sluggish. If you love the bands that were involved, great.
Yeah.
But they were okay. And at the EDM tent, they had a couple.
Who was the headliner?
You know what? I know that Aoki, I think, appeared.
Steve Aoki,
yeah. But
with his thumb drive of mixed music,
with his thumb drive of mixed music and cake, but I'm not sure of the whole thing. But it was what they did do, which was very nice, was they sponsored a lot of local DJs, and dealt with that. So my friends tell me that the band's a little sluggish, but good enough, if you like that stuff. Food was outstanding. Yeah. Pricey, but outstanding. Yeah. And so the alcohol was reasonable, but pretty good. They had a lot of local beers and wines and so on and so forth.
Yeah, they got a brewery downtown there.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. And then lastly, which I was really interested to hear, is that Life is Beautiful also includes a sponsorship of artists. And they had art installations and showcases and things of that nature. It was pretty impressive. And it was like this may be denigrating them a little bit. I hope it's not, but it was like a really highly produced First Friday. So a little bit like that.
How expensive? I think it was pretty expensive, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, tickets ran from a limited ticket for about $50 to $150, and then you had to get different stamps and things. I don't know how strict they are as far as that. As far as the vendors were. But it was I did not see the final tally, but they were supposed to have a 200,000 person influx.
Wow.
Yeah. And at the time, they were looking at about 40,000. When I took the tour, they were about at 40,000 per night. So they were well on their way to getting that number. But I commend my friend who was in that arena and took care of it. And I hope they come back. I think it was a success. But I'll have more information on that when I get my friends, nail them down and see what happened.
Yeah.
As promised, I'm going to a quick review of Lawry's restaurant. Lawry's The Prime Rib.
The Prime Rib.
Not new.
Nope, it's been there a long time.
Not new in the city, not new in the state, not new in the country. There's Lawry's all over the place. But I got to tell you, for those of you who haven't been to Lawry's, I broke down and turned my back on the vegetarian nature, and I had a steak.
Oh,
yes,
the prime rib.
A prime rib.
Yeah, was it good?
It was outstanding.
Yeah.
It is.
Well, even if you just eat fish, I've had their lobster tail, which is really good.
And they also have a salmon presentation now,
yes,
which is outstanding.
Yes.
It is. It has the feel of formality.
Yeah.
It has a 1930s and 40s decor.
Yeah.
Red crushed velvet, big booths, nice tables.
Reminiscent of Piero's in some ways.
Reminiscent of Piero's in town, exactly. Reminiscent of the Manhattan bar that used to be over off of Sahara, and reminiscent of the movie Casino, which they filmed there. One
Piero's,
of the exactly. Yeah. So really lovely place. The maitre d's are old school, so they treat you very well. And they have this spinning salad bowl thing that they do. They carve the steaks right at the table, which I think is still fun. I don't know why I think that, but it's kind of fun. You choose your steak while he's at the table. The mashed potatoes are just amazing.
Yeah.
They have all these different types of sides that are equally amazing. But what is the pricing? You're looking at 4 people, probably about $300 from soup to nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which in Las Vegas that's not bad.
That's not too bad.
Yeah,
not too bad.
Not when they're charging $17.50 for a baked potato.
Reservations are highly recommended. It was we went early. It was getting busy as we were leaving.
Yep.
It's valet only, essentially. Little teeny valet.
Yeah.
But it is a lovely, lovely experience. I cannot say enough about it.
Yeah.
And the number one thing I demand from the restaurants that I go to, more than once, is consistency.
Yeah.
They are consistent. Every single time it's going to be the same good meal. I like it. And, and it's quiet.
Yeah.
It's not this communal eating and banging around and unnecessary music on the PA. It's a really lovely experience for family, for events, for corporate, for anybody that wants to go and have a good steak.
Yeah. And the menu is recognizable. Sometimes you look and say, what the hell is this?
Yes.
And you don't feel stupid in that regard because you're not up on the latest fashion.
Exactly.
Exactly. I know when we worked at the hotel, they were always the go-to source. Them and Smith and Walensky for they almost never said no we can't take that. I had people come in that there was a wedding party and they had not thought about making a reservation for like 15 people.
Right.
And Lawry's on a Saturday, Lawry's was able to accept them.
Yeah.
I never had anybody come back and tell me, oh, that place was terrible.
Yeah.
They always came back if they said anything. It was always very positive.
Yeah. And whereas it's a bit formal feeling. Unfortunately, people, they don't have a lot of requirements.
Yeah.
I would like to see people dress better, but it is the way it is. That's our
Las
town.
Vegas, yeah.
But things aren't served on planks of wood. There's no foam on it.
Yeah.
There's no person explaining what you're eating. There's no farm to this and table to that.
And, and what the chicken's name was.
Yeah, it's good beef served well in a quiet environment, and you walk out having a lovely time. So I don't know what else is necessary for restaurants, but that's it. So try Lawry's out. Again, they're not paying me to say this. I try to give some good reviews of things that John and I experience. Yeah. So try that out. Oh, where is it? It's Howard Hughes Center.
Yeah, it's just behind the strip.
Behind
Paradise?
the strip on Paradise. Yeah, exactly. So just try it out. I think you'd be great. John, in the news.
Yeah.
The Rio and Circus Circus got sold
I heard
to
that.
two separate entities.
Now, the Circus Circus to me kind of took over for Barbary Coast and being a total cash cow. And
Yeah.
it was even, I don't know why, I guess the MGM, I guess maybe it was just too smelly.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it wasn't posh enough for him because, I go, gee, you own the Bellagio. It's kind of like when you're playing Monopoly and, everybody wants Boardwalk and Park Place, but nobody lands on it.
Yes.
Everybody lands on that fucking light blue one, Connecticut Avenue.
Connecticut.
Shit, I had the Connecticut Avenue in 3 hotels. It's like $45. Shit. But they kept
Exactly.
landing on this. This is a cash cow for me. I'm not going to get rid of my Connecticut Avenue.
I think it is going to be a cash cow. It's funny you mentioned Barbary Coast. Circus Circus and Barbary smelled the same. Wet and had a nicotine, that sort of cigarette smell.
I think you still have hookups
whiskey,
there.
yeah.
It has hookup there has a completely different meaning because it's for the motorhomes, right?
Right,
You can go
exactly.
sleep in the parking lot.
Exactly. Barbary Coast, of course, is a Cromwell now. But,
Yes.
So Circus Circus. Now I have heard two different schools of thought. I'm not going to bore everybody, because probably 4,600 podcasts have talked about this. What I want to know is I've heard two schools of thought about both of these properties, and both of these properties are being produced by two different people, two different entities.
It's a New York-based company ended up buying the
Yes.
Rio.
Exactly. Now I have heard they're going to gut it and do a total redo on both. And I've heard equal number of strong arguments and strong articles regarding the fact that they're just going to update them but keep the same theme. What would you like to see them do?
Well, the Circus Circus, it's got to say Circus Circus. I mean, that's right out of Hunter S. Thompson. I mean,
Not that we want kids.
Yes. But even people who, when I used to come to Las Vegas, I would stay at the Stardust because it was $35 a night. And I said, I don't spend much time in my room. I basically need a place where I can park my suitcase.
Right.
And sleep. I need a sink and a shower.
And the door locks.
And the door locks. And pretty much that's all I need. I'm not going to be spending a lot of time here and be out and about.
There you go.
More money for me to spend other places. So Circus Circus kind of fills that need because some of those lower end properties like Stardust, like Sahara, they're gone. And you see other ones. I don't know what they're doing with the room rates at the Strat.
The Strat.
Yeah.
Yes.
What is this? The rebranding bullshit that goes on. It's the same place. All they did was they took some letters off the name.
Yes, O-Sphere apparently was
the Irishman.
Right, it made the whole area better. That O-Sphere.
That O-Sphere. Which among the locals, that's what they called the Stratosphere. Those people who worked there, they called it the Strat
forever. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's the big deal? So we'll see. But I hope that clown stays there.
You know what? I do too, because you saw it in things like the old show with Robert Urich, Vegas.
Yes.
He's
Phil, the guy downtown, Vegas Vic.
Vegas Vic, yes. Yeah, and I'd hate to see it go to the
Neon Boneyard. I don't want to see that
for a lot of reasons. I do not hear good things about the Boneyard.
But also, I mean, they could play off of it. I mean, it's Halloween. They used to have. They used to always have Adventure Dome was changed. Remember?
Yeah, and they had and we have a question coming up. The last question.
Yeah, which they didn't do last year
about Halloween.
Yes, they didn't do that last year.
Yeah. I think that's more of a safety issue. The Halloween never really goes.
But that whole clown, they could have done a whole thing.
That'd be so cool. Yeah, that'd be so cool. Well, I agree. I hope they renovate and update and upgrade, but I hope they keep the themes because both of which, to locals, especially that are 10 plus years here. Yeah. I think we all find them very comforting in town. Yeah. And some others we like to see them go away. Yeah. These I don't want to see go away.
Especially if they're making money.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, I don't understand what the thought is. There really isn't any low budget, dump anymore in the Strip. Really. Yeah. They're gone because we're gonna put up something bigger and newer.
Venetian.
Yeah, the Venetian is. It can be 20 years old. Yeah.
Again, let us know what you think. I've seen both articles. I've talked to many people about their opinions, and let us know what you think.
I still think the people who work there, part of their uniform, they should have big sweat stains under their armpits.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, it makes you feel at home.
A minimum of 60 years old, like Caesar's waitresses. Okay. Well, one thing hopefully is leaving that John brought up that I did not see until I looked before the pre-show. The Nevada legislature
Good for them.
What are they doing?
They're looking into making resort fees illegal.
That's right.
Because of the transparency. Oh yeah, your room rate's only 129, but we got this resort fee of $49.95.
Right.
A night.
Right. Hope it extends to car rentals.
Yes.
But no, I'm for that 100%.
Yep.
I don't mind if they build in some fee for whatever they want, for whatever extras they claim they're giving us. But yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
There is no transparency.
People used to complain at the Venetian when we were there because of the Canyon Ranch Spa. They wanted to use the workout facility. They had to pay money extra.
Right.
Well, I said, well, it's not the hotel doesn't own the spa.
Right.
They're a tenant of the hotel, so they charge what they want. The hotel doesn't have its own workout facility.
Right.
So there are a lot of things people expect at the Holiday Inn when they're traveling in other places. HBO in the room, and they're expecting the treadmills, continental breakfast. I don't know, all these things that they get for their $79 a night place, which at the 5-star Venetian of Bellagio you're not going to get.
You're not going to get, and I actually like that. I recently stayed at a Hyatt Place. It's one of their middle brands.
Yes.
And I wanted the gym. I thought the breakfast was great and all the extras. And then you're right. You come to the Venetian and you're like, we have the biggest rooms. Well, okay. Well, there's a lot of big rooms. Yeah. South Point has a great big room.
Yeah, it's $5 to look inside the minibar just to look at it.
Done. Don't touch it. Don't get anywhere near it. So yeah, I'm 100% for that. I hope the legislature keeps going. Good for you guys. Get rid of those fees, and go a different direction.
Yeah.
Now, something I learned just before the show, I put this on here, and I thought it was wonderful news because we kind of make fun of the Mr. Vegas.
Mr. Vegas.
Yes. I didn't know that Wayne Newton had a star on the Las Vegas Walk of Fame.
Oh.
The Las Vegas Walk of Fame.
Yes.
And it was removed when the Frontier was removed.
Oh, yeah. I wonder what happened to all those stars. That's right. It was right there in front of the Frontier.
Well, Mr. Vegas, who absolutely deserves this.
Yes, he deserves
is getting his star put back.
Oh, good for
right
him.
in front of the Paris and Bally's.
All right.
So good spot, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't realize that they yanked it. And apparently, that his specifically was not going to find a home again. And I thought, oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. I mean, the man, he's dedicated himself to this town.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
he hasn't performed in a long time, has he?
No, I don't
think so.
I don't think so. He's had trouble with Shenandoah and the whole museum thing.
Yeah.
Although it's still functioning. Go and enjoy it. It's an amazing thing to see. Big old Wayne, he's getting his star back right in front of Paris. All right, we got to talk about it, John.
All right.
Because we've been there. See, John and I and Chris from Faces and Aces podcast and our good friend Julia, for all the listeners, went out to Area 51.
Yep.
And enjoyed the Little Ailey Inn.
Yep.
And we provided, I think, a really great conversation there before all this nonsense happened.
Oh, the storm. Yeah. The alien festivals.
Exactly.
Kind of like a second-rate Burning Man, I think.
Yeah, exactly. To the point where the originator, which I don't really consider him an originator, he made up some horse shit on Facebook, and then he's the originator, and then bailed because he went someplace else.
And sent out a cease and desist order.
Yeah. So unfortunately, now I'm hearing the number was about 150.
Okay, that was it?
200.
I heard a couple thousand, but they thought they might get up to 40,000, and it wasn't anything like that.
Of course not, no. The town couldn't take it.
No.
You know? And I heard I also saw, actually I saw their video, and they're idiots. I saw 2 Dutch travelers went across the line. Now they went under where you and I stood for our show.
Yep.
And they went across the line. I'm like, you're idiots. It's a government facility. I don't care what you think about the government and what you think about police officers and all the military. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You're gonna get jacked. And then sure enough, they did. I just wanted to let everybody know how I felt. Storm Area 51 was kind of crappy, because those of us that have gone out there, I know other podcasts have gone out there and had a great time. We went out there and really made a respectful effort towards everyone out there, and had a wonderful time. They're great people out there. We saw the where the aliens are supposed to be, and we saw the silly stuff in the black mailbox and everything else. And then this Storm Area 51, like you said, you could just hear the people. I can make money doing this. I can make money doing that.
Yeah, they had people that were selling ashtrays and bullshit like that.
Yeah. So boo
yeah.
on Storm Area 51.
Yeah.
And that's the only information I'm giving.
There was a series on recently. I watched it on Hulu. It wasn't a Hulu show. I forget. Maybe it was History Channel or A&E. I don't know where it originated, on the unidentified, and they talked about some of that. What was interesting is I watched it just because they were going to interview Bob Lazar. Who was the original whistleblower on that.
Right.
And it was interesting with what Lazar said. He said, he still, to this day, swears up and down that what he was working on there was technology that was well beyond anything that we could have produced. They got to understand it because they were reverse engineering it. They just didn't know how the hell it worked.
Right.
But he has stepped back from his comments about seeing aliens. He said he saw something in the hallway looking in there. He says now he kind of doubts that he really saw any creatures or anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was different. But in terms of the vehicle itself or the vessel, he swears still to this day that nope,
so,
it was something.
So are we thinking Bob, though, all the cards in his deck? I mean,
he seemed, the adult one here,
yeah,
or the older one now, I mean, his neighbors, there were people they talked to who knew him as a teenager.
Yeah.
He's building a rocket car or something like that, and he was just one of those science geeks.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't think he was making that up. Now, whether or not that technology came from the Soviets at that time, and it was just something really wow. This is something. Who knows? But again, he backed away from the aliens.
Yeah. And for those of you who don't know anything about Lazar, check out Netflix. It's still on Netflix.
Yep, that was right. That's
very informative documentary about his involvement.
Yep,
Bob Lazar. One more piece of news.
Yeah.
So boo, Storm Area 51.
Yeah.
And yay, Wynn Hotel. They reinstated the free valet.
Yes.
Good for you guys. Because charging for parking is one thing. Charging for valet, where you're already going to pay for it, you guys suck.
Yeah.
So thank you, Wynn. I hope everybody follows suit. So now everybody. So if you need to park, go to South Point.
Yep.
And take an Uber.
Yeah.
If you need to valet, go to Wynn.
Tropicana still doesn't charge unless there's an event going on.
Right.
I think.
Well, now. Tropicana charges for Golden Knights and, of course, for the Raiders.
Yeah.
Will for the Raiders. Okay. Last question.
Yep.
From Jason from Facebook. I left this one because it's coming. We're finally ahead of the game, John. He said, I'm coming in from New Zealand. Well, that's great.
Good.
I'd love to hear all the people from all over the world that listen to the show.
That's a long trip.
Yeah. And he said, Jamey and John, you guys are always very truthful and it helps a great deal. Well, thank you for that. I really appreciate that. What's Halloween like?
Oh,
well, let's deal with what Halloween used to be like.
Yeah.
It used to be very interesting and fun.
Yeah.
The clubs, back in the day, I would say probably, let's call it 10 years ago.
Yeah.
They would have wonderful parties, fantastic costume parties. Most costumes were still allowed. Nowadays you can't wear a mask, you can't have a pitchfork, you can't have anything that looks like a gun.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole laundry list of things you can't do. You can be Trump, you can be Trump, Melania, and then
it used to be. I remember when we did at the Venetian, it really freaked the security out.
Yeah,
because people are walking through the casino. It's the only way you get to the nightclub, and they're dressed up in costumes. They're dressed up like a cow, or
it's totally understandable. Yeah, I understand the mask thing. So the nightclubs were so fun.
Yeah.
And the casinos, of course, they really don't celebrate Halloween again because of all the do's and don'ts. So you're not going to see a lot of you're not going to walk into the Venetian and see all these cool decorations. You're just not. You'll see a few. All of the people, the dealers and the waitresses and this and that, they're still allowed to dress up, and they do. The fun ones do.
Yeah.
Where to go to for parties now? Well, the nightclubs, Marquee has a pretty good one.
Mm-hmm.
Omnia at Caesars, not bad unless they're bought out by a corporate event, which often they are.
Yeah.
NGM has multiple locations for parties, which are kind of fun. Their prices, they're pricey. They're up there. Venetian, not so much.
No.
Yeah,
no.
they got rid of their party atmosphere, I think. Let's see. I'm trying to think. Mandalay Bay. Actually, I heard. Now I have to get confirmation of this. In fact, we'll reinvest ourselves into Halloween on the next show. I heard they were having a beach Halloween thing again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that might be fun. So
what about the MGM?
MGM, they have multiple locations. They have their nightclub, and then they have a couple locations that are. And they also they used to call it the Hollywood Walk, the celebrity walk, but it's just shopping now. But apparently all of the vendors and restaurants and everything else, they're all engaged in Halloween stuff too.
Yeah. There used to be some pretty good haunted house type attractions, like the Freakling Brothers.
Oh, Freakling Brothers.
Again, we talked about Circus, the Thunderdome, or the Adventure Dome got changed into that. I forgot what they called it. What was it?
Fright Dome.
Fright Dome. I was thinking Horror Dome wasn't right.
Yeah.
Right. Fright Dome. They didn't do it last year. I don't know about this year.
Yeah. They have off strip. They have some really great haunted houses. If you've been to Universal Studios, they do it kind of like that. They're themed. They're like Ghostbusters and Stranger Things and things like that.
Yeah, that's what was good about Fright Dome, is that they would choose a movie like Halloween, the original one, and they would have a set very much like the house.
Yeah.
And you could walk through it and things. That was cool. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like the old farmhouse.
Yeah.
Those would have been a lot of fun.
So Jason, there's plenty to do. Lots of food specials and drink specials, and there's all different types of things you can engage in on and off the strip, inside and outside the resorts. The only thing I recommend is that if you're one who enjoys the costumes, no masks. Don't bring anything that's in your hands, like pitchforks or guns or anything like that. And really don't do anything that covers your face at all, as far as they can be removed. They don't even like helmets much anymore.
No.
So make your costume, makeup. Just nothing that covers your face or goes over your face, and I would recommend that don't do things like cows and robots that take two people, because security's not going to like that.
Yeah.
But other than that, you can go full bore. People love the costume stuff out here. And we have one thing I can recommend is, if you forget. Now, I can't speak on if they'll have things available as we get closer, but there is a wonderful store called Williams Costume.
Yeah.
That is still open out here.
It's been there forever.
Yeah, they have fantastic selection, especially if you're just looking for makeup and stuff. So try Williams Costume over on Valley View and DI, near Valley View and DI. Yeah, Desert Inn if you're not from here. So Jason, come have safe travels from New Zealand. Wear a great costume, have a wonderful time here, and we hope you have a great time in Las Vegas. So everybody that's been listening today, if you have all the points of our show that you'd like to engage in, please let us know. Twitter, Facebook, anything you want, a direct message. Let us know if you have any questions or if you have any opinions on what we've talked about. If you have any place that you'd like John and I to review or go to, we'd be glad to. Like I said, I'm going to try to include at least one per show. restaurants or attractions or hotels in general, let us know. We'll be glad to go out there and give you a truthful review. If it sucks, we'll tell you it sucks. If it's great, we'll tell you it's great, and everything in between. So if you have any friends that want to listen to that kind of thing, please refer us and join us on what is it, Apple Music now?
Yeah.
Apple Podcast, or Podbean directly. You can go to thepodbaydoor.com and engage in all of our stuff. So please do that. Let us know, and we'll be glad to give you a shout out there. Steve, thanks for listening. Thanks for that Jay Sarno thing. We appreciate that. And John, good to be back with you.
Good to be back, Jamie.
For John and Jamie, this is Jamie, and we will see you guys real soon. Thanks to everyone listening and watching. You can catch the Pod Bay Door on the Podbean app or any of your favorite podcast apps, including iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, and Stitcher Radio. You can watch the show on our YouTube channel at the Pod Bay Door Podcast. Please download, like, and subscribe. Our social connectivity screen is coming up. Check in with us on Facebook, Twitter, and WordPress. The Pod Bay Door is closed and... Hey everybody, thank you very much for tuning into the show. We would love to hear your show suggestions and comments. If you're watching on our YouTube channel, please click to subscribe. You can also connect with us on Facebook using @PBD Podcast, on Twitter using @TPBD Podcast, and on WordPress at thepodbaydoor.wordpress.com.